the U.S. entered a government shutdown, the 21st in our nation's history. Though it's a big deal, it's hardly unprecedented. But something many of us haven't seen before is the Senate leaving the floor hours before the deadline without an approved funding bill, which raises the question, could Congress simply stay away indefinitely, leaving federal workers across the country unpaid and the economy on a tightrope? We verify.
Since nearly every year, Republican and Democrats haggle over the funding bill for weeks, leaving Americans on edge as we wait for lawmakers to reach an agreement before government shutdown begins. And this is far from the first time it's come to that. The last shutdown in 2018 was the longest in U.S. history at 35 days. But what incentive does Congress have to spend long hours on the floor working to come to an agreement? Does anything prevent an impasse that could drag on for weeks or months or even indefinitely? Let's verify. Our sources are the United States Constitution, Congress.gov, and Senate.gov. One possible reason Congress would want to end a shutdown is so they can be paid. But according to the U.S. Constitution, Congress is paid automatically by the Treasury, meaning members receive their checks whether other parts of the government are funded or not. So what's stopping members of Congress from simply staying home? This is also laid out in the Constitution. It says that each body can, quote, compel the attendance of absent members in such manner and under such penalties as each house may provide, end quote. In 1798, the Senate adopted a new rule specifying the penalties for enforcing senators' attendance. That rule states that the Sergeant-at-Arms has the authority to bring absent members back to the chamber. The current Senate Sergeant-at-Arms is Jennifer Hemingway, but she can only bring absent members back to the chamber when it is in session. She does not have the power to make them convene or stay in chambers indefinitely. So could President Trump tell Congress that they cannot leave the floor until they come to an agreement? The president does have the authority to convene Congress on extraordinary occasions, typically involving national emergencies, declarations of war, or the need for immediate legislative action. However, the president does not have the power to force Congress to stay in session until they agree on something. The House and Senate decide when they're in session, when they take breaks, and how long debates last. So we can verify that yes, a government shutdown can continue indefinitely until Congress passes legislation and the president signs it. There is no timer or constitutional deadline that would bring it to an end. What usually ends shutdowns is political pressure, economic impacts, and/or public opinion.
If you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692.